Hey folks, this is Erin. I'm gonna let for some folks to pop in here because she's gonna start sharing stuff. So I'm so glad you're okay. Let's get some, give it a few minutes for some followers to pop in. She's sharing the hell out of it. You wanna go? Okay, cool. Trisha's here. Hey Trisha, thanks for popping in. Share this if you can. Okay folks, so what we got going on here. This is Celeste Paradise. She was the person attacked in Berkeley last night. There's been a lot of questions about what's happened to her. We want to sit here and we want to get, you've probably noticed if you've been paying attention to the internet today, there's been a lot of talk about what kind of injuries, if someone was even attacked at all. So we've managed to track her down today, and we want to hear from her, like her actual personal account of whatever happened, and just make sure everyone knows finally from Celeste's mouth what she experienced. So to start off with, Celeste, you want to tell me about just a little bit about yourself. You don't go into too much detail, but tell me about your politics, like where you stand politically. I noticed your sign, you have a sign that was welcoming Ben Shapiro to Berkeley. So do you want to just
it was sort of a test. I purposely had a sign that, in my opinion, was not incendiary in any way. And the we welcome part, you really had to get close to see it. I don't really consider it politics. It's a more fundamental problem, which is just our side is law and order, and that's anyone who believes in law and order. And it doesn't really matter who you vote for, it's just how you treat people. And there's a large segment of the population that's being encouraged by teachers, intelligentsia, the news, everybody, that you can scream and throw things and say whatever you want, block traffic, and that's called free speech, and it's not. And even if you're allowed to do some of that, what they seem to want is their right to say whatever they want, and we are not allowed to respond. And it's like, if you're screaming, look at me, then I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, well, what? And if you don't like that I agree with you, then don't go, marching down the street screaming at people, screaming obscenities in the microphone. That's what their actual speakers, their speakers outside of Shapiro, where you could hardly hear, their actual speakers with the PA and the microphone were screaming F word. There wasn't a single speaker, any age that they had, different ages, different races. They're really big on races on the left, I guess, but every single one of them, their best vocabulary was 4-letter words. So, I'm tired of coming to all of these things and people act like, because we're basically fascists, because they call us Nazis, the basic understanding is what you believe is so vile that it's as though you've hit someone by believing what you believe, and therefore everyone else is allowed to defend themselves, and their idea of defending themselves is to hit us back because what we believe is so vile, and it's not right, it's not true. And a lot of times we're all a really big tent. I mean, Ben Shapiro is definitely fundamentalist Christian type. I know he's Jewish, but what I mean is he's more like the evangelicals that share his view. He probably likes Ted Cruz, that kind of thing. And yet you have people like Milo also being ostracized. He's like way on the other side of the spectrum to Ben Shapiro. So our side, being the side of just constitutionalists, has a really big tent for people of all different beliefs. You can be trans, you can be black, you can be white, you can be whatever. And we all know this inside our huge tent. I'm tired of being basically portrayed as something that deserves to get beat up or shrieked at because we simply have a different point of view than these people who start all of these riots and demonstrations.
Yeah, thank you. That's a really, really good one there. I love, and I've noticed that myself. We have, when we go there's I'm trans, we have other LGBT and trans people in our group. We have plenty of people of color, and they still want to attack us and call us Nazis and just chant it at us, and they're not even interested in any type of dialogue. I mean, it's just, and it's something we've been telling people and telling people and telling people and just trying to get this out here. And thankfully we have video today that we can show this sort of stuff and people can see firsthand. So tell me, so you went to Berkeley yesterday, I think you said it was like a test. I mean, I saw your sign and it didn't even to me, it was not something I would consider really even a test. It was almost it was a very nice welcoming sign to Ben Shapiro. So, I mean, is that this basic kind of, you wanted to welcome him, but also you wanted to kind of see chest your free expression and just see what kind of reaction you got it?
Yeah, in my opinion, it was a sign someone even could have had who didn't support him. They claimed to be the free speech side on the other side, and really one of them could have had a sign like that. Maybe not saying we welcome you, but just you can speak and I support free speech and love, peace, all of that, which is essentially what the sign said.
Yeah.
The point was we were peaceful, we were minding our own business, we were not anywhere near these people when this thing happened,
So like, who were you with when you were there? You were with your...
I was with Jose Ornelas, and I don't really care, but when we come to these things, everybody makes a big deal of the fact that he's Mexican, I guess. They just assume that when they look at him, which he is, but a lot of times he gets yelled at because they say to him, why are you hanging out with white people? You're stupid. You're a moron, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, does he want to pull up a chair? He can, yeah, just tell him. We're going to get him in the feed too, if he wants to. Yeah, he's going to step over here. If he wants to, he's going to step in the feed. He can kick, kick in and throw, tell us what's going on. What he noted, what he saw, because he was in one of the Periscope feeds that was getting shared like crazy. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, sit down. Hey, thanks for joining. This is Jose here. He was, if you saw the Periscope feed of the aftermath of her getting attacked, you were the one that was yelling and I know she called some people fascists. She was calling them fascists for attacking her for her sign.
Exactly.
So like, where exactly were y'all? Like, y'all were obviously in, I thought it was around like, right by the campus pretty much.
Yeah, we were standing in front of a Walgreens, and at this point the whole rally was winding down, so I had my guard down, and we were talking to other people. There were kids. It was wonderful people. Someone was taking a picture of our sign, and then someone came up and grabbed the sign, and I tried to hold on to it, and as I was dragged away holding on to it, two guys just grabbed me, spun me away from the girl who ran off with the sign, and I was in the middle of the crowd all of a sudden, and then they slammed me down, and my head hit the pavement twice. It was awful. I didn't trip, it was awful, and then I couldn't see for a minute. I was dizzy. I couldn't get up right away, and by the time I could even think about it, it was this maelstrom of people, but it was awful. I got separated from my friends. Everyone was screaming at me. There were no friendlies. The cops were all around me, and it was a terrible position because, everyone was just yelling at me and taking pictures with their phones and not trying to help me, and I just wanted to die. I was so, embarrassed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand, but it's not your fault. I mean, you definitely don't need to feel embarrassed for that. I mean, just for being a victim like that. Like, what was the mood like? The crowd when you were walking. I think you said they were, like, it was obviously obviously it was protesters, so they were not fans of people like with our opinions. But like, what was the general mood? Like I think you said some people took photos, but what was the general mood? Like, how did people react, like, before your actual attack? Like,
well, in the beginning, it was interesting because I think no one was even trying to test or see what was going to happen, and a lot of press came up to me. Rather from Channel 4 came up, all kinds of different bloggers, and they all seemed astonished and that I would have a sign that said what it said.
They were astonished that you would have a sign that was welcoming Ben Shapiro, and you were in the middle of downtown, like a first world American city.
Yeah, like the chancellor of this campus invited this person to speak, and I had a sign saying, yes, Shalom Shapiro, we welcome you, and everybody was like, you're brave. I'm astonished by this.
Shalom Shapiro is something it takes to be. Yeah, I mean, we're going to show her. We'll show her. We'll show it here in the beginning. But it was like, I remember it's like you were like love, free speech and peace or whatever on your. Would you mind reading them exactly what you're posting?
Yeah, it literally has a peace sign, a comma, then a heart, and then and. So it's basically says peace, love, and support for the First Amendment, and then Shalom Shapiro, a happy face. Yeah. We welcome it. You. And that's the sign.
That takes courage, and people are amazed
Apparently.
that someone goes downtown Berkeley and holds a sign saying that. That is something that takes courage, people. Just let that sink in for a few minutes, okay? That is courage in Berkeley, is to carry a sign welcoming Ben Shapiro to Berkeley, which is just stunning. I can't even believe that.
That also, by the way.
Yeah, please, Jose, tell us. This is Jose. He was there. Tell us what you saw.
It wasn't the only physical interaction we had with those people.
Yeah. That night?
Yeah, because we had gotten close to the mic.
Yeah.
So we were trying to give them some call and response to some of the idiotic comments they had.
Because they were saying Israel is a fascist state, and that's just not true, and it's evil to say that.
So one of their number came up to us and basically walked right into the sign, because she's holding it against her chest. So he's trying to push her back with his body.
Yeah, a guy did that a couple times.
And so I pushed him back, and he decided maybe that he couldn't accomplish his goal. But that he basically went and decided that he was going to physically interpose himself on her sign. He didn't have a critique for it. He just wanted to push her.
I mean, that's what we experience. You know, they chant at you. They don't want to talk. They want to
Yeah,
chant.
they scream in your face.
They scream and they chant.
And
there's no dialogue that goes on with these people.
Yeah, the point of it is, just like you, we had several encounters and we don't care, we're not babies. It was only because I got surrounded like that. I'm sorry, anybody gets knocked down like that and slams your head against the pavement, the back of my head, you know, and then I couldn't see for a minute. What would anyone do? You couldn't get up right away, and then everyone's around me. But obviously we didn't go running to the police or trying to look hurt when other people shoved at us. We get pushed all the time and no one cares. This is only because there was no way to really cover it up, or so I would think, but I guess now people are trying to say it didn't happen.
Well,
so yeah, I guess I got elbowed too, because my lip is like, I noticed that this morning.
What are your, I mean, there was some misunderstanding this morning. There was a lot of talk about it. You know, like initially when I heard about it almost immediately, because my friend was standing right by you, and you know, there was some talk about, because in all the scuffle, like there was talk of like blood and like someone was yelling something about a knife. So there was a lot of talk that like the way you were holding your neck, like there was basically a lot of people thought that you'd been stabbed, but you weren't stabbed.
No, there was nothing like that. It was
Tell me about your injuries. Like what you do. Like you said about a concussion or something.
Yeah. So I got slammed onto the ground, and it wasn't the ground like you know, it's grass. It was the street. Yeah. So I fell all the way down on my back, slammed my head in, and it went bonk bonk twice.
Yeah, the witnesses I've heard have said like her head hitting the ground was like very audible. And
in fact I didn't have control over it, but I realized later tears were pouring down my face because obviously it hurt that bad. And then I noticed later, and what their official thing was, it was a mild concussion. They just told me, you know, what you're supposed to do for a concussion. You know, I went to the ambulance. They took me to the hospital because since I couldn't see right away, and I guess I got the year wrong. Initially, they asked me all these things like, who's the president, what year is it? Yeah. And anybody would be a little discombobulated. I didn't mean to be, you know, but...
Well, that's understandable. I mean, you hit your head hard on it. They threw you down and you got injured.
And initially, right away, I tried to say someone, you know, they kept saying what happened, and I was very clear as I could be. I said someone grabbed me, they threw me down, they threw me down.
That's what you said.
I never told the police I tripped. I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, come on. If that was true, we would have been getting concussions all night because people were shoving at us all night.
Hand me the thing. Okay, I'm gonna read this statement from Berkeley PD. Okay, I'm gonna show it to her. I want to read this out for you. She fell and wasn't pushed. No fight. This is what she told us at the scene. These are the actual facts. So you want to read that? Do you want to tell me? Are these the actual facts?
No, I can't believe this. I feel like I'm in shock. First of all, I didn't even take a police report. No one took an actual statement, a true statement from me at all. No, I know what a police statement is. No one even asked me or took a true statement of any kind. And
if you go to the Berkeley PD Twitter page, you will see their official statement that says that when the discussion says she fell and wasn't pushed, no fight. This is what she told us at the scene. Well, it's reversed, so they can't really see it. But you can go to the Berkeley Police Department, Berkeley, you know, at Berkeley Police, and you will see at 11:38:01 a.m. September 15th. You will see this statement, and you have just heard the actual victim to which this statement refers to declare it categorically false. All right, thank you. So we got that out of the way. So you were trying to tell them what happened to you. You told them you were attacked.
Yeah, as best as I could. I got separated from my friends and any other witnesses that were on my side. So what could I do?
Okay.
But I tried, and the whole time they're carrying me away on the stretcher, there's people surrounding, screaming, calling me awful names, and saying you're lying. You know you wasn't. We saw how you fell. And I was trying to tell them. I guess they saw what happened. Asked them what happened. You know, and they just sort of ignored me. And, but I never knew when they spoke to me that they were going to make a report like that because they, you know, kept asking, can you identify the person? And I said, no, they grabbed me from behind, but there was like 3 of them, including the girl. And just because I can't identify somebody doesn't mean it didn't happen. I don't understand how they could conflate the two. I mean, it was clear that, yes, I couldn't identify the 2 guys, but that doesn't mean there wasn't a fight. You know?
What did you experience? Like, what did, like, the incident? Because, I mean, you, in case you haven't seen the Periscope video, there's a Periscope video of this, and you can see Jose yelling at the people like immediately after. Like there is some video of the scuffle that was shown on television. I don't have that with me right now. There is a Periscope video taken immediately afterwards. You can see Jose in it. He is yelling, and would you like to tell, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but you just tell me how you reacted immediately after the attack or during the attack. Just tell me, please, what you saw.
Well, I mean, you know, of course, I was incensed. I mean, the night was almost over, so It did seem like, okay, well, we finally got through a day of peace in Berkeley, but these kids seem to have a hard time controlling their emotions. So one of them decided they just had to come through out of the dark and grab her sign away from her. And I mean, it's not something. It's not nice. First of all, it's her sign. She wanted it back.
Well, somebody was literally in the middle of taking a picture of
well,
this
you
mom and a
got,
kid.
I mean, you literally, like, they took something from you and then they assault you. You were literally, like, she literally meets the definition of being robbed and beaten.
Exactly.
This was a robbery and an assault. Because they took something that owned to her, that she owned, tried to take it away from her, and then when she was trying to get it back, literally assaulted and beat this woman. Right. You know.
I was a little bit shocked when, but I wasn't sure I was going to get the sign.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah,
she wanted to get her sign back, so here's what worried me. She has 3 slip discs, so if somebody, you know, pushes her down or something, she could hurt even worse. So I was concerned about that. So I followed her and I tried to protect her, but it, you know, didn't wind up not working. So I pushed the lady who had the sign. I tried to push her away in order to Celeste to be able to separate the sign from her. At that point, she then was knocked down, and that's what the cops saw. The cops saw that there was a scuffle, and they came out. And by the time I looked around to see who had pushed her down, they had already formed a cordon and had pushed me out of the way. So, you know, at that point, there's nothing else I could do. Yet try to witness to the, I guess at this point, hundreds of cameras and cell phones.
Yeah. It was,
so, and of course, most of these kids, I would say maybe half of them are university kids, new to this kind of thing, and so they're like puzzled about what happened. The other half, of course, is these.
Keep it down. I'm gonna need you on camera. I'm not on camera, but I'm gonna need you to step over here in a minute. I'm sorry.
These ideologues who were actually kind of happy to see us get, you know, punished, essentially.
Yeah, I've experienced that as well in the future. This omnidirectional mic, please keep it down, like when we're talking. Step right. I know you don't want to be on camera, but step right here. I just want to bring this up. Now you recognize? I think you recognize him.
Yeah.
This was my friend here. He's off camera. This was my friend Henry Gunn that I interviewed earlier today. Jose recognizes him from last night. I don't know if you remember him because you hit your head.
Yeah, I don't remember everything.
Let me show you your wrist. We're not going to show you everything. This is her. Like you can see, she has a hospital armband.
Yeah, this is from the. I'm just in shock that the police. I still can't get over that. I didn't know until just now that that they would report that. I don't know why they couldn't just say we don't know. We're still gathering information. Why would they put out such a definitive statement that is not factual?
Well, here's what's interesting because Jose, you can see Jose's on the videos of the incident, so you know he's there. He recognizes my friend Henry as being there. Tell them what happened on camera. Like you don't have to stand on camera. Just tell them what happened when you went to the police department and tried to make a report.
So immediately after you were taken away in the vehicle, on the spot, I asked to speak with a supervisor. I figured a beat cop wouldn't talk to me.
Right.
I requested a supervisor, and I said I have property and information I want to convey. I need to convey about a crime. And at first, the officers just completely ignored me. I mean, they wouldn't even look at me. And then I went to another officer, Asian American officer. He kind of signaled me over, and I thought, wow, cool. And I went over next to the Walgreens on Bancroft and Telegraph.
Yeah.
And he said, you need to go to the police station. And I said, who do I talk to? He said, there'll be somebody there, just buzz the door. So I walked a mile and a half, something like that.
That's a pretty long hike from there.
It's a pain because it's the hill. And when I got there were 50 Oakland police officers, not Berkeley, sitting up front on a motorcycle, just hanging out. And I approached them. They said, we're Oakland, we're not Berkeley. I said, I need to talk to Berkeley. They said, go to the building. So I went to the building. Nobody would answer the door. An Oakland police officer came over, and he was nice enough to say, I'm going to try and help you make contact with the Berkeley PD. And they wouldn't respond to him.
Wow, they wouldn't respond to the Oakland officer.
They ignored him. And then he said, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. They barely let me in to go pee. And I said, wow. And I said, so should I come back later? And he said, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. So I stood there for a while because I was just dumbfounded. I didn't really know what to make of it. There was 2 refused fascism people that are trying to pick up one of their friends who was arrested, who's been featured in the police mugshots.
Right.
And I talked to them briefly, and then I left, and that's what happened as far as trying to file a police report. And then I disputed the police on Twitter. I disputed them directly in their Twitter feed in response to them, and I took their Twitter feed and I retweeted it with my own quote and saying this is a 100% falsehood. And the newspapers, several Berkeley side and other newspapers said it's a bogus, it's a scam, I'm spreading rumors, that I was spreading rumors. So the police and the media both have conveyed the image that nothing happened.
Yeah.
At worst, somebody was sick or accidentally fell down, and I just dumbfounded. I'm sure you're.
Yeah, I'm dumbfounded hearing this. This is so disheartening to me. I mean, I understand all of
because I've
the
seen
things
you've
like
been
the
attacked.
Oakland.
You've been like attacked online for having,
right now my feed is just being just bombarded.
Oh
because
gosh,
people are
I'm
saying
so
it's a
sorry.
lie. And that you're a liar. You're fake news.
You're fake news.
You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I really didn't care because my response to those people was always, I've seen no compassion from you.
Oh,
not one person.
She was said to be sick.
Oh, brother.
Injured sick woman just taking away.
I'm sick of leftist thugs.
Just taken away by medical personnel. Like they said she was sick and she just basically collapsed. That's been like what everyone's been trying to say. But thank you. Yeah, I know you've been attacked. You've been attacked online and insulted and everything because you just happen to be sharing what you actually saw. You tried to make a report. They wouldn't take one from you. He tried to make a report. They wouldn't take one from him. Like y'all basically got like.
And the worst part is the thing that's gotten me so angry is very few people have expressed concern for your well-being.
That's a good
I mean,
point.
if all they said was,
I wouldn't expect them to. When I heard what I heard being carried away, I didn't expect them to.
Very few people has. She was carried away and like on a stretcher. And
even Berkeley side newspapers said that you were taken to the hospital. So at the very least, even if you had an illness like they claimed, people should genuinely worry for you. And nobody did, and that absolutely infuriated me.
This is the area we live in. It's just insane.
Well, I just have to say, so we say on the record, I understand why there were police from different areas. They had to bring them all in for this very reason. So it's not like I don't understand why there was Oakland PD there and all that, or why maybe they couldn't immediately address the problem because they were so busy last night. I just don't understand them putting out a definitive statement that is not true. They should have just said, we will get back to you when we have more facts. Please let us have time to sort this out. But it's not true that nothing happened. Why would they say that? Other officers saw.
SF Gate, which owns, as far as I know, San Francisco Chronicle, they this morning put out a tweet quoting the police and saying this is proof that anything talking about somebody being hurt is a fabrication.
Here's another one. A tweet from I think this is a reporter, Jessica Jim. What? Daily Cal. This is from a Daily Cal reporter.
Wow.
An officer says a woman fell down and hit her head. Well, you did fall down and hit your head, but what they didn't point out is she had some help in falling down and hitting her head. She didn't just randomly trip and fall. But you have mentioned before, I think when we were discussing earlier on the way over here, I think you had mentioned before, like you had, when we were chatting on the phone when we first made contact, I think you've had previous experiences with like violence and being like, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Right.
But you'd had some incidents before, like coming to Berkeley and being mistreated by...
Or even mostly them even coming to my town.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to come out and say something, because I kind of shied away the other few times. And I know it's happened to other people, and I'm getting tired of it. Like, I know that the time Milo tried to come here before, some 8th grade teacher put out this thing telling everyone to go and get Milo if they could when he showed up, and she gave a vague description of a guy who's 6'2", approximately between 35 to 25 years of age, blonde. That could be any number of guys, and so I know that there was a guy that got dragged out of his car who had nothing to do with it. And I'm tired of these things happening, and nobody does anything. And why we are always expected to be tolerant, and they
Yes.
are never expected to just even comport themselves with the minimum level of decency and, respect.
And we were both
Yeah.
attacked in separate incidents the day after the election.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Tell me about that. Tell me what happened like after the election. If you just want to just briefly touch on it, if you feel comfortable.
You want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, well, mine was relatively minor. I was not actually touched, but 7th graders from the Oakland Art School at Franco Gallo Plaza threatened to beat me up because I admitted to voting for Trump. So that was interesting. Their teachers
Yeah.
were there, so they just wanted these students to run wild, apparently. And eventually those students started jumping in the street and blocking the street, just like they'd seen with Occupy. So, they were running wild on that day.
Wow. You want to just briefly explain, or just how
Well,
you feel comfortable?
yeah, these teachers do that. I mean, the thing is what people don't understand about us, and we've been doing this since 2010, we do what you're supposed to do. You have to go get a permit. If you want to be in a public space and you want to take it over and say who can come and go and say I have the microphone, that's fine. You get what's called a permit, you clear it with a city in advance, and you have your people come. Well, what these people do a lot of times, they just show up, scream and yell, and they're allowed to just have the run of whatever. So a few days after the election, it's the same day he's talking about. I don't recall what day it is, but it could be looked up. It was a day all over the country. Kids walked out of class because their teachers told them to. Number one, that's breaking a law. That's a truancy thing. Now, I don't believe in forced education, but it is the law, and you can't just say, these parents drop their kids off, they're told their kids are going to be in building A, and instead they're off running around the streets and anything could happen to them. That's the first law they're breaking. Then they go and show up and they occupy a park or whatnot, and they want to tell other people that they can't come to the space. So that's occupying. They're screaming, and they have these amps that they put out. This is at Todos Santos Park, and these are kids from Mount Diablo High, but the teachers were behind it. So they had these huge amps, like larger than this table, and they're blasting, obscenities, F Trump, F his family, kill his wife, smash in her head, just awful stuff. Now there's things called, public decency, and different cities have different laws. And I'm not saying I would be a hall monitor, but I'm just listing there's a litany of laws they always are allowed to break. Okay, you've got a noise ordinance when they're screaming so loud that you can't talk in the shop half a block away. You can't ignore them, and they don't want to be ignored. Yet if you were to come and say, I don't like this, they'll beat you up. And these are kids. They've walked out of school. They're supposed to be one place, and they're just running around. That's a truancy law they're breaking. Yeah. They're breaking, decency laws or obscenity. There's different ways that's done. And like a lot of them are bussed in. They come to where you are, where you live. And this is a suburb. When people live in places like Concord and Pleasant Hill, stick it away from Berkeley because we're tired of it. I was born in Santa Cruz. I don't want to live there now because this stuff, it's ongoing with the Occupy and then Black Lives Matter and now Antifa. It's always the same thing with a different name. And so what happened was, after 2 hours of it, I thought, I think we've been patient enough. I showed up with a sign that had hearts and rainbows, and and I had it, and it just said, all we are asking is give Pence a chance. And I figured it'd be over their head, but they came walking up and they're all, oh hell no, and they're doing obscenities. I didn't even make it all the way to the park. They jumped me, they slammed me to the ground, took the sign, shredded it. I got up, and the police came over, and the police said to me, you're at the wrong place. You're at the wrong rally. You need to go. And I said, okay, I'm not going to sue you, but I'd like to try and sort this out with these kids. And they're all, do you want to make a report? As though they were just bored. And I said, no, that's okay. I'm just going to sort it out with these kids. And in fact, it got so violent so quickly that some of the other kids pulled off their own friends. Because that's your proof that they're being lied to and misled. They're not evil. These are young kids, 14, 15, and they've got these adults standing behind them, egging them on, and it's just evil and sick. Because of course no one decent is going to beat up a minor, and it's evil, especially as a woman, because you're not as strong. Someone sicks some 15-year-old kid on you, a guy, he's still stronger than me, yet I know he's not conceptually aware the way I am as an adult. So it puts me in this terrible position, and they do it on purpose, these administrators. It's evil. And of course they know that we're not the Nazis they paint us at. If we were, they would never endanger these kids. What they're hoping is they'll get one of us to defend ourselves, hit a kid, slap a lawsuit on us, and have us all over the papers. Evil Tea Party fascist beats up innocent minor minding his own business. And of course, never once in all of these rallies have we ever done this. It's, and when we get a permit, by the way, and with the shoes on the other foot, we get a permit, we're not screaming, we leave the park cleaner than we found it. These people show up, trash things, they're allowed to invade, tear up our stuff. the police have to escort us to our cars, but no, it's not stopped. And you see what happens if you ignore it year after year. Now we're just getting to the point where it's just almost chaos.
Exactly. I mean, I've seen, like, the first time I ever saw Black Bloc was the election night where I was leaving the GOP election party, like the watch party. It was just a watch party in San Francisco. And someone had told, like, Black Bloc or Antifa where we were, and they were outside the exits waving bats and tire irons, and the cops were kind of standing there cowering. And it was like, holy hell, who are these people? Like, where do they come from? And that was my first experience with them. I just want to say, well, like, I'm going to jump on, like, the stabbing thing. I want to explain a little bit of the background for that. If anyone's that is the fault of that becoming the narrative over the last 24 hours, that's all my fault. What happened was, I had, basically, like, my friend was there. He told me he saw some blood or something, and, like, someone was screaming about a knife. And, you know, I saw pictures with your hair, and, like, it looked like there was a lot of blood. And I heard she was holding the side of her neck, and people were seeing blood, and she was sitting there shaking. So I started talking about, you know, there was a lot of discussion about someone being stabbed, and we had seen knives there that night. There's been knives, there's been stabbings in Berkeley before of conservative people. So I was the one who started talking about that, and it kind of snowballed from there. Basically, if anyone else, like, she wasn't stabbed, but if anyone needs to be blamed for that being the narrative today, that is basically me. So don't hold that against anyone else that has run that out there. I'm the one who really started pushing that narrative. But anyway, we've gotten the straight. We're sitting here with her now, so we've gotten the straight scoop from her. Is there anything, like, just before we wrap up here? Is there anything you want to say to Berkeley PD? Like, is there anything you want to say directly to them, like, about everything, the way you've been treated, and just everything of the last 24 hours?
Well, I mean, everyone was nice, you know, when I got helped out. It's just, I don't know what else I could have done different. And maybe a couple of officers could have just even looked behind. Like, did they think I was there alone? I obviously had nothing with me. No one cared they didn't ask me, was anyone with you? You know, I'm in this city I don't live in. They take me to some place, I don't know where it is. They had no concern for where it was. I don't expect them to be able to, like, even stop it before it happened, because it could have cropped up anywhere, the violence. But I just think maybe one or two cops might have stepped back and looked to where I was standing, and was anyone with this woman? You know, I mean, I had nothing on me. Did they think I had no purse, no phone? It was all left behind, and it was left there because I was pulled away from where we were standing. We were not in the middle of the street. We were not trying to fight. We were all up against the wall talking amongst ourselves.
Let's make sure we got this covered. You were at the Walgreens.
Yeah, we were standing against the wall.
In Bancroft. It was Bancroft and Telegraph, right? Right there.
Yes.
Okay, Bancroft and Telegraph right there at the Walgreens. I mean, how do you, like, the way they've treated, like, the way they've responded to your attack? Like, what do you want to say to them regarding that? Like, you know, they have categorically stated that you said something you did not say. I mean,
I don't know what to say. I just, I gave you all what information I had. I said immediately someone grabbed me. Everyone who spoke to me directly, all those officers know there was a fight, because they kept saying, can you identify your attacker? Can you identify your attacker? And I said, no, I couldn't. They grabbed me from behind. So somebody there knows there was a fight. At the very least, even if they think I'm making it up, say there's a dispute as to what happened. But don't say, absolutely there was no fight. You know, there was something happened.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that was the most shocking thing. It's like they would make a statement like that when the actual facts were the exact opposite. Well, we're fixing to wrap up here, okay, folks. But at the end to end this segment, we brought a little something back for, let me swing it around over here and give it to you. But we brought something back to its rightful owner. We brought her sign back to her.
Retrieved here it is, the incendiary sign. Are you ready?
Incendiary sign.
This is it.
Backwards, but I'm going to go ahead and let me switch it around really quick so you can read it.
Here it is in all its evil glory.
This is the sign that got her attacked.
Doesn't that make you just want to
peace, love, and support
up?
For the First Amendment, Shalom Shapiro. That was worth a beating and robbery.
Yeah, I just want to say one last thing about the whole thing. It's just people in general. I'm not the only one to say this, but, you know, anybody out there just put yourself in my shoes. Like, I always try to think what other people are thinking. Anybody, even if the person just fell, imagine how you would feel. You're the one laying on the ground, you can't see for a minute, you've conked your head, you know you look awful, no one's trying to help you, instead they're all just snapping pictures at you. It was just a nightmare. And but then the, you know, people, it was hours before I was even released and able to talk to anyone. I didn't have my phone with me. I wasn't even able to stand for the first hour. I was too dizzy. So I had no way to stop whatever was being said about me as I was carried away. I don't know what I could have done differently, but I just wish that people would think about that more, and I don't wish that on anyone else there. And I would like to say there was some nice young people who I think are being misled. Some very nice young people that I met there that seemed to be on the side of these people shrieking, you know, these things like love. We're about love. Resist. We're about love. And they would scream, F you, go away, in the microphone. Felt really loved. But when people would get violent several times earlier that night, some nice kid would say, hey, stop that, or everyone just chill out. And it was people on their side. So there are good people amongst you being misled. And it doesn't mean you have to vote Republican. This isn't even about politics. This is just about, we all need to be able to talk and have a dialogue, or you can't have any kind of freedom. And if you think that we're honestly wrong about something important, that's all the more reason why we need to speak, and we need to be convinced that you have a point. But it's not going to convince any of us when things like this happen. And if you don't know what happened and you weren't there, I just wish in all of social media people wouldn't say these ugly things, or, you know, I'm sure there's all these awful pictures of me out there, and I was laying on the ground, and yes, I was holding my neck and my head because, you know, my head had just slammed back, and also I was covering my eyes because it hurt when I could see again at all, and, you know, I'm wanting to just have whatever privacy I can. All I could do was hide behind my, so that's all it was, and then it turned into this story. But, you know, no one who had experienced the event wanted it to go like this, obviously. So.
Okay, folks. Well, thank you for joining in here. I'm with Celeste, the one who was attacked in Berkeley yesterday. There was a lot of questions about everything that happened. I found you with about 10 minutes worth of internet sleuthing. So, and thank you. I'm so glad you're okay. I was basically like worried the entire day, like trying to find out how she was. But she seems like she's gonna be all right. She's a little beat up.
Just needed some conservative love.
Yeah. So. She's a sweet girl. She's really, you know, she's a great girl here. We had an amazing segment with you on here telling you your story. So thanks for tuning in, folks. Let's make this go viral. This is what really happened. This is pretty crazy stuff here. Okay?
And we really are glad that you came, Ben. Thanks again.
Yeah, actually, that was a great speech. You didn't get a chance to see it, but I went in and saw it. And Ben did a really good job. He did a good question and answer. Amazing speech. Great event. I'm going to be in free speech. I'm going to be in Berkeley for Free Speech Week, all of next week, and I'm going to be streaming everything. So if you want to watch what's happening on the ground, please follow me. I also have another channel, Scrabble Bag Shooter, I'm just starting to use. You can follow me on there. It's listed on my Facebook. But basically, folks, thanks for tuning in, and, you know, keep tuned for anything else, because this lady, you're probably going to see her on some more news here in the near future. But thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed our little show here.